of SEMA 2023. We are in Las Vegas, and I'm telling you, every time I turn around, there's some new innovation, some new way to approach the market. And right next to the leather repair company booth is another company called Sparmax, and they have an incredible line of airbrushers and compressors. And we've been watching Daniel for the last 4 days do this amazing piece, man. So let's talk about what you're doing and a little bit about the Sparmax family.
So this is the fourth time that I sprayed for Sparmax at SEMA. I use their compressors at the shop. As you can see, this is the one that I use. It's a little dirty, but I do have a backup one as well. This is the airbrush that I used for this painting right here. This is a Sparmax SP20X. I chose this one because the needle and nozzles pretty fine, but I can use any one of their airbrushes and get the same results. So basically what it does, it's a mini spray gun, and whatever type of liquid that you put in that cup will atomize, and it will turn it into thousands of really fine dots. And you can thin that paint out or any type of material that you're spraying through there and spray it out. And you can reduce it. If you're using automotive paints, you can use automotive reducer. In this case, this is acrylic paints, which I can reduce with water. And that's what I did with this whole painting right here.
So one of the things that's been really fun, so we have Diane with us and the owner of leather repair company, Richard Hutchins. Just like 3 weeks ago, we had the Leather Repair Summit. And you know, Richard was doing a phenomenal job of overloading us with information about leather.
I think I got overloaded as well as they overloaded you with information. I mean, that was an intense 6 days.
It was.
It really was. That's something we've never done, but I mean, that was amazing.
So one of the fun things that came about it is, you know, my partner Rob Pusey that had to go and bail on us today because he's doing something fun. He brought a really unique technique
to the industry.
So, you know, I'm watching him airbrush, and I'm like, Diane's killer shoes. So bring those shoes around. So talk about that, Richard.
So obviously, Rod was like, you know, we sort of do certain things in sort of like the hot rod industry, and we're like, we can bring this concept into this. And I'm like, really? And he's like, yeah, this is like with lace. And I'm thinking, how the hell can lace get involved with leather and spraying? And so he's like, has somebody got some lace? So we got some lace, cut some bits up, taped it on to Diane's shoes, and literally sprayed that. And that is the result of spraying through the lace, straight onto the shoe, and then clear coat and then sealing it back in again. So obviously with that in mind, I then, as soon as I got back to England, I'm like a little kid in a sweet shop, going around buying up all sorts of lace from different shops, and then developing a product to actually glue the lace down rather than taping it down, which is what I was saying to Daniel, is to sort of put some glue on the back of it to tape it so it can actually go round curves without actually lifting. Yeah. So I mean, from that, you know, that one little snippet of information that Rod gave me and everybody else, I've learned from it and then adapted our products and innovated with it to bring something new to the market.
Yeah, I think what's really cool as I was watching you work, I mean, you're over here meticulously painting this, and your painting actually looks better than the photo.
Oh, it does look better than the poster. Yeah, it's phenomenal.
And I just lost my microphone, but that's okay. I got this one. So, but I think the thing that really struck me was that with a little bit of creativity, with the right tools, with the right products, you can resurrect or give new life. I mean, we took that Coach bag that you literally changed the colors from.
Exactly.
And, I mean, it went from this burnt burgundy to this beautiful purple
color. Exactly.
So talk about that. I mean, it was your first time being exposed to this.
It was my first time, and for me, my passion is leather and with apparel. So with shoes, handbags, you know, anything leather that we could just give it some new life, and sneakers.
And these were only 2 weeks old when we did those. It's like, do you really want to do this? Like,
absolutely. You know, I just rip them off and just give it a go, you know. And for me, like my auntie's handbag, we had this old Coach handbag. She was gonna give it to charity, and I'm like, oh no, you know, that's great leather, and you know, just giving it a new life, really, and playing with the colors that Leather Repair Company has, and the full range to mix different colors and combinations is just incredible. And sky's the limit when it comes to creativity, as Daniel knows, and.
It's like I was saying to Daniel as well, you know, with like obviously he's done that on a skateboard, but again with the leather paint, he could do this exact same thing on any leather, on jackets, car seats, and everything. You know,
So
that's what I was saying to him about Hiram with the low riders. You know,
Yeah, so you're doing cars.
Do cars, canvases, illustration, RVs, motorhomes,
Everything.
Wow.
You name it.
So one of the things that I thought of as I'm watching you, and I'm thinking about what we did with the headrests of cars.
Yes.
Right. I mean, you with the right stencil, the right combination of paints, and the right spray gun and compressor. I mean, you could bring a totally different dynamic to the services that you're offering.
Yeah,
And I think that's what excites me about coming to SEMA is we get to see companies like Sparmax, Leather Repair Company. We get to see trainings that go on to help elevate, and we get to see some awesome talent. So
Well, yeah, I mean, that
kudos
is just-
to Daniel. I mean, that is just amazing.
that
I
skateboard
appreciate
is
it.
phenomenal.
Yeah, thank you.
And he was kind enough to help me use the airbrush gun, and I suck. But
He's a professional now.
but I have asked for one for Christmas. I am hoping to get one because I have always dreamed of doing
Doing
airbrushing.
this, I mean that is.
So
I mean, that's
I
amazing.
will not be at that level for a long time,
Yeah.
but still. So guys, we are live from SEMA. Thank you, Daniel, for your time.
problem.
I mean, it's a pleasure. Diane, thank you as always.
Thank you, Jody.
Always love hanging with you. And
No
Richard,
So one thing before we go, Daniel, with that, you know, airbrush you've got there, what sort of size needle is that, so people know?
You know, I want to say maybe like a point. Shoot, I don't even know. I don't want to say the wrong thing. You
Yeah.
know?
So is it?
But
It's
I will
quite
say-
fine though, isn't it? It's
Let me
it's
show it to you.
yeah,
Instead of
it's a very
saying-
fine needle, isn't it?
Let's pull this out. And right there, you can see the nozzle.
Yeah, that's very fine.
That's super fine. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to push this needle through, and you're going to watch that needle pop out through the end. You see that?
Oh yeah, that's
Yeah,
really
that's
fine.
cool.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's pretty fine.
So basically, what it is, it's a needle valve. When you pull this needle back, you see that needle rock back and forth. When it's all the way at the tip, that valve is closed. When you pull it back, you're opening the valve. And that's how tiny that nozzle is.
Yeah,
Wow.
So your finger is what controls that valve. Basically, what an airbrush is, it's a two-way valve. It's an air valve.
One, isn't it? Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
It's an air valve, and you rock this back, and it's a paint valve. So you're controlling both of those valves at one time.
That's the paint and the air then flowing through.
Yeah.
With
Yes.
with that, yeah, that's cool.
And
yeah.
and you need the air first in order to push the paint out.
Yeah.
And this is where the air travels through. And, you know, you need this cap on. When you put this cap, you want to make sure that valve is, or that needle is out the way. That way you don't bend it. Go ahead and put that on.
Yeah, that's very fine. I mean, that's
Yeah,
probably like
that's-
0.2 or 0.3.
It's very fine.
territory, isn't it? Yeah,
It's
that's
very
really
fine.
Yeah.
And
I mean, when you
okay.
consider the detail that you've done there, that is microscopically fine.
Yeah.
It's super fine. It's in very thin layers to build the image up. And what I basically did on this painting was look at my reference. That are dark, certain areas that are light, some areas that have real sharp edges.
Yep.
And some areas that have lighter edges or
Yeah.
softer edges. And I'm just paying attention to everything that's right here, and I'm trying to mimic that with the airbrush right here.
I was going to say, with the sharp edge you've got here, running through here, like you pointed out there, this sharp edge here is much sharper than the actual picture. I mean, that's class.
It could be.
Yeah.
That is phenomenal. I mean, what I'm looking at there is is phenomenal, the work you've done.
Yeah.
So I mean, obviously this is on a skateboard. You can literally do that on anything. So do you have a company, or is it your company?
Yeah.
Obviously, I know Sparmax isn't your company, but I mean, you obviously do this sort of artistic work.
Yeah. So if you just, it's basically just my last name with this,
Yep.
and then fine arts after,
Okay. Cool.
and then if you type that in Google, I'll pop right up. But
Excellent.
it's like a custom painting service.
Yep.
But I not only do this, I do auto body paint, and so all this is kind of
All connected.
All
Yeah.
connected. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so, but like with your guys' case with the leather, like
Yep.
we were talking about earlier,
Yeah.
you know, we were talking about we can make certain stencils, or you guys can make
Sure.
certain stencils and
Absolutely.
have an
Yep.
airbrush and spray that product through the stencil, and you
Yep.
have the image there. Or in your case, what you're pointing out with this, if you really want to get artistic with it, you can push something like
Yes,
that.
absolutely.
You know,
Yeah. Yep.
just don't get intimidated when you can't do it at first, because obviously it's going to take time.
Sure.
But, you know, over a long period of time, you know, once you get more confident, yeah, it is possible. You know, and
There's a
I
business
prove
for you. Do training. Start a training business, showing people how to do this.
it. Right.
I'll
There's a
take
good
your
business
class.
for you.
All right. She's
I'll
already
I'll
signing
take
up.
your class.
Yeah.
I'll take your class
Okay.
to learn how to do this.
Right on.
Well, cool, guys. As you can see, there's a lot of innovation, a lot of creativity. We're having a great time at SEMA 2023. Rod, sorry you're missing on the fun, but
Right, Rod's missing out.
we will see you later.